Picture this, you're on stage, lights blazing, crowd roaring, and you grab what looks like a fake bat for a quick shock, only to feel warm blood gush and something twitch in your mouth. That's the nightmare Ozzy Osbourne lived through in 1982, a horror that turned rock legend into pure terror. Stick around as I dive into the untold details that still give fans chills today. Rock in the 80s was raw and real, the kind of music that got under your skin and stayed there for folks across America. Ozzy Osbourne embodied that spirit, rising from Black Sabbath's heavy riffs to solo stardom that drew huge crowds night after night. His Diary of a Madman tour was rolling through the heartland, bringing thunderous guitars and lyrics that spoke to working-class struggles many knew too well. Fans didn't just watch, they joined the frenzy, hurling objects on stage to fuel the chaos Ozzy loved. Toy bats, fake snakes, even raw liver. It was all part of the ritual that made his shows unforgettable. Ozzy built his rep on shock, starting with Black Sabbath days where songs like Iron Man painted pictures of doom and power. But the real story starts in Des Moines, Iowa, with a teenager named Mark Neal who turned an ordinary concert into eternal lore. At 17, Mark was like many young Americans then, blasting Ozzy on his boombox and dreaming of rock glory. He won tickets to the January 20th, 1982, show at Veterans Memorial Auditorium from a radio giveaway, and that's when the idea hit. Mark's brother had found a dead bat weeks earlier, lying stiff outside a local school in the bitter winter cold. They froze it solid in their home freezer, treating it like a quirky find without much thought. On concert day, Mark pulled it out, let it thaw a bit, and stuffed it in his jacket, sneaking past guards with his heart thumping hard. The auditorium pulsed with energy that night, lights dim and fog rolling as the band tuned up. Ozzy's crew, bassist Rudy Sarzo, guitarist Randy Rhoads, knew the drill, ready for anything the crowd might throw. The set kicked off with pounding drums and Ozzy's signature howl, pulling everyone into the madness. Mark waded in the sea of denim and leather, the bat now warm against his skin from the venue's heat. As Ozzy belted out over the mountain, Mark saw his chance and flung it toward the stage. It soared, landing right at Rudy's feet, a small black blob amid the spotlights and shadows. Rudy glanced down mid-headbang, pointing his bass headstock at it like it was no big deal, keeping the bass line steady. Ozzy spotted it too, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Fans always tossed rubber props, perfect for his act. He leaned down fast, grabbed it, and waved it for the roaring crowd. Then the bite happened. Ozzy crammed it in his mouth, chomping down for that classic shock everyone expected from the Prince of Darkness. But horror struck immediately. A gush of warm, sticky fluid flooded his tongue, salty and gross like nothing he'd tasted before. In his autobiography, Ozzy recalled the instant wrongness, that gloopy mess making him want to retch right there. He thought it was fake, maybe with string tied around its neck like a Halloween gag. But then the twitch came, a slight jerk that screamed this was no toy. The crowd exploded, some cheering wildly, others gasping in disgust as Ozzy spat the severed head into the pit below. Fans lunged for the pieces, turning the moment into a wild hunt for mementos. Rudy watched it all, his bass still thumping, but worry creased his face. Was the bat alive or dead? Mark insisted it was frozen stiff, no life left after days in the cold. Yet Ozzy felt that movement, swearing it fought back, blending fact with the fog of the stage. The show pushed on, Ozzy hiding his dread behind screams and poses, but his mind raced with fear. Rabies crossed his thoughts right away, knowing bats carried it often in the U.S. Midwest. Untold panic set in. What if this bite brought fever, madness, death? He gargled water side stage between songs, trying to erase the taste that clung like a curse. Mark Neal stood in the audience, a rush of adrenaline mixed with sudden regret. His prank made the local paper the next day, where he spilled the details, proud but aware of the stir. Animal activists raged, picketing and calling Ozzy cruel, while metalheads saw it as pure rock rebellion. This tied into Ozzy's earlier dove bite in 1981, setting the stage for such stunts. At a Los Angeles CBS meeting, He planned to release doves for peace, but bit their heads off instead after boos and annoyance. Some accounts say the doves were live, flapping wildly. Others claim dead, but the shock value stuck. That dove moment got him thrown out of the building, boosting his bad boy image that fans loved. It encouraged throws at shows, like the bat, creating a cycle of escalating chaos. Untold, Ozzy's bandmates joked about it pre-tour, never imagining real horror. The 80s rock world fueled this. Bands like Alice Cooper with his Snake acts, Motley Crue's wild parties. Ozzy snorted ants with Nikki Sixx once, another gross tale that paled next to the bat. American fans from 25 to 65 recall that era's freedom, music as escape from daily grinds. Black Sabbath's roots added depth. Ozzy from Birmingham's Factories, naming the band after a horror film. Songs like War Pigs critiqued society, resonating with Vietnam vets and blue-collar workers in the crowd that night. Untold details from locals. Des Moines kids hunted bats pre-show, inspired by rumors. Parents warned against Ozzy's evil, but teens flocked anyway, turning the auditorium into a metal mecca. As the set hit peaks with Crazy Train, Ozzy's mouth still burned, the bite's memory fresh. He powered through, voice strong, but inside, doubt gnawed. The crowd's energy carried him, chants echoing like a lifeline. Sharon Osbourne paced backstage, phone ready for doctors if needed. She knew Ozzy's history, addictions, close calls, but this felt visceral, blood real. Untold, her quick glances at the stage, heart sinking when the bite happened. Fan culture then was intense. Tape trading shows, fanzines spreading stories. The bat tail zipped across states fast, twisting into Ozzy chomping live animals nightly. But truth was scarier. One dead bat, one mistake. Mark's family felt the ripple. Reporters at their door, neighbors gossiping. His brother regretted the find, a backyard discovery gone global. Untold guilt. Mark wondering if he'd hurt his hero. The venue's old walls held the echo, dim lights adding eerie vibe. Security scanned for more throws post-bite, but the show wrapped strong. Ozzy waved farewell, smile masking the storm brewing. Tour life meant endless miles, hotels blending. The bat was a jolt amid routine, reminding Ozzy of fragility. Untold, band huddles post-show, laughing nervously to shake off fear. American rock in Reagan's era, Cold War tensions, economic ups and downs, made Ozzy's darkness relatable. Fans saw themselves in his struggles, by becoming symbol of pushing limits. Other stunts dotted Ozzy's path, urinating on the Alamo in 1982, getting banned from San Antonio. It fit the pattern, but the bat stood out for its unintended horror. Randy Rhoads' guitar work that night shone, tragic knowing his plane crashed months later. The band was tight, by just a blip in their bond. Untold layers from interviews. Ozzy joking the bat tasted like bad chicken, hiding true disgust. The twitch? Maybe thawing muscles, science meeting myth. This build-up chapter uncovers the chain, from frozen bat to stage toss, trapping you in the tension. The horror built quietly, exploding in that gloopy bite that shocked the nation. For U.S. audiences remembering MTV's rise, this story revives those thrills. Rock wasn't safe. It was alive with risk. Mark practiced the throw at home, aiming true. Untold excitement, his buddies high-fiving as it landed perfect. The crowd's gasp froze time, then chaos erupted. Fans fainting, others pumping fists, pure 80s energy. Ozzy's resilience, finishing encores despite the taste lingering. A rock god, human after all. Expanding on Sabbath, early gigs in pubs, building to stadiums. Ozzy's voice defined genre, bat adding to legacy. Other fan throws, frogs in Florida, chickens in Texas. Untold, Ozzy's warnings ignored, leading to Des Moines. Sharon's role grew. Manager and wife, she handled fallout. Untold calls to hospitals en route, prepping for worst. The bite's sound, crunched through fur and bone, haunted Ozzy. Simple prank, lasting scar. The show ended, But the horror was just starting for Ozzy Osbourne that chilly Iowa night in 1982. As the lights faded and the crowd filed out buzzing with stories, Sharon rushed Ozzy backstage, her face etched with worry. An ambulance waited outside, sirens silent but ready, because the bat's body vanished in the pit frenzy, no way to test it for disease. Ozzy climbed in, the cold air hitting like a slap, his mouth still tasting that salty nightmare. Doctors at the ER stared wide-eyed at the rock star, prepping needles for rabies shots that would drag on for 3 long weeks. Each jab burned, stomach, arms, legs. Pain no tour schedule could pause. Untold agony. Those shots came nightly, even on the road, leaving Ozzy sore and shaved in spots for injections. He wore wigs on stage days later, revealing his bald head to crowds for laughs, but the fear was real. Rabies could kill slow and ugly, symptoms like foam and madness fitting his image too perfectly. Mark Neal headed home, high from a concert but uneasy as news spread. The Des Moines Register called, and he told his tale, the frozen bat, the planned toss, making him infamous. Animal groups protested his house, signs waving, while fans sent letters praising the prank. The media storm hit national, papers labeling Ozzy a monster, boosting album sales ironically. His Madman rep solidified, drawing bigger crowds curious for more shocks. Untold boost. Tour tickets sold out faster, Bat becoming marketing gold without trying. Bandmates like Rudy Sarzo recalled the chaos, spitting the head ambulance ride. In later interviews, Rudy shared how Sharon explained the bite, hospital trip turning routine into emergency. The band played on, but tension hung heavy. Ozzy laughed it off in talks, like with David Letterman, calling the shots not fun and the taste very salty. But privately, dread lingered. What if infection set in? Doctors monitored months, no symptoms, but the what if shadowed him. This tied into Ozzy's life battles, addictions that nearly ended him, close calls on tours. The Bat was another chapter, turning horror into strength. American fans connected, many facing their own struggles in the 80s economy. Legacy grew fast. Bat t-shirts, cartoons, even movies referencing it. Untold cultural ripple, inspired gore in bands like GWR, making metal edgier. Ozzy's story became pop culture staple, from Simpsons cameos to Halloween costumes. Sharon's strength shone, managing fallout while supporting Ozzy through pain. Untold, her tears in hotel rooms, fearing loss after so many scares. She turned it positive, pushing his career forward. Months later, tragedy struck with Randy Rhoads' death, making the Bat night bittersweet. The tour continued, Bat a rallying point for the band. Untold resilience, Ozzy honoring Randy, bite fading but never forgotten. Interviews years on reveal variations. Ozzy saying alive and twitching, Mark insisting dead. Science suggests thawing caused movement, blending fact and fear. The horror. Uncertainty that gripped Ozzy's mind. American audiences from coast to coast retold the tale at bars, work, family gatherings. For those 25 to 65, it evokes nostalgia for when rock stars were untouchable yet human. Protests followed. Religious groups boycotted, calling Ozzy satanic. Untold backlash, canceled shows, but fans rallied, turning negative into loyalty surge. Ozzy's health improved. No rabies, but shots left scars. He joked in his book about the gloopy liquid, but the terror was palpable. Untold therapy, music healed, writing songs channeling the darkness. The Bat's disappearance added mystery, fans claiming pieces as relics, sold online later. Untold market, Bat fragments fetching thousands, horror turned commodity. Des Moines became pilgrimage site, fans visiting the auditorium for photos. Locals share stories, adding to the legend's life. Ozzy forgave Mark, even meeting fans like him later. Untold closure, Mark's relief, no hard feelings from his idol. This aftermath chapter reveals the long shadows, from hospital jabs to cultural icon status. The horror didn't end with the bite. It evolved, trapping generations in its grip. Expanding on legacy, documentaries like The 9 Lives of Ozzy, retelling with fresh details. Untold footage, grainy concert clips showing the moment.